Hello, everyone. Welcome to Real Dads Speak, a show where real dads share their stories about being present in their child's lives with the goal of raising responsible adults. I am your host, Sarah McClure, and my guest today is Ron Fleming. In May of 1989, Ron was the commander in charge of then Coleman A. Young's Executive Protection Unit. He came to my police academy class to introduce himself and tell us about his unit. Ron is semi retired and a partner in the security company where I am currently employed. He is a proud dad and granddad. Today, I'm going to talk to Ron about raising his sons and taking in his nephew and raising him like a third son. So, welcome, Ron. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Now, are you originally from Detroit?
All my life, except for 4 years in the Navy.
Okay. So, what side of town did you grow up on?
West Side,
All right. And what high school did you attend?
Northwestern, the big
Did you?
NO.
Me too. Okay. So, were you popular in school?
No, I was a raggedy kid, so I wore a lot of khakis. Yeah, I was just one of them kids that just existed and wanted to get out of school to get away. But me and my father didn't get along too well, so that's why it had an influence on how I treated my kids. And
Oh,
so I was happy to, after he threw me out the house, I joined the Navy for 4 years, and that changed my life.
wow. So, did you have any siblings?
Yeah, three. I had three sisters. One's passed, but the other two are still here. Marilyn and Brenda.
Okay. Are
Hmm.
you the oldest?
Yes, I am.
All right. All right. What did you want to be when you were growing up?
What I wanted to be when I was growing up, I really didn't get that much thought. I just wanted to get the hell out the house.
Was your father, what is he, really, really strict or something?
Well, him and that bottle made
Oh,
life a little miserable. Them weekend drinking episodes were kind of interesting, and
okay.
so that helped me to be the kind of person I am. I was born on my mother's birthday, so I took most of her traits, which made me, I think, a much better person.
Okay. All right. So, were you and your sibling? Are you and your siblings close? And do they live
Yeah,
here?
yes, we are. Yes,
Okay. All right. So, what did your parents do for a living?
my mother was a school teacher before she came to from the South, Mississippi, Indianola, Mississippi, the home of B.B. King, to work in the factory, and where she met my father. She
Okay.
was a Rosie the Riveter. I didn't know that till later on in life. My mother was a Rosie
Yeah.
the Riveter. My father was a welder. So they were working during the war effort. So he wasn't in the service because he
Okay.
was a welder. And they met at that plant over there on Woodward and Highland Park.
Oh yeah.
The one that they with all the stacks that they
Yeah.
demolished. Yeah,
Okay.
and
All right.
that's how we came to be.
So you say your dad would go through his big drink binges with the bottle on the weekend. So did you guys do any kind of activities together with your mom?
Yeah, we did quite a few things with her, and she made life pleasant with what she had to deal with: five kids and alcohol, an old man that was abusive. And then after I got back from the service, we got away from him in life. She lived to be 99.
Wow.
I don't think she'd have made it if she'd have stayed in that environment.
Okay. Was she willing to go? Did you have to convince her to go?
About after about the amount of time that she was with him, at about 68, she was ready to go.
Okay. All right. All right. So, after you graduated from high school, you say you went to the Navy?
Yeah, 4 years. The U.S. Navy. I was a postal clerk.
Okay.
How did that happen? I was stationed in Great Lakes, and Vietnam War had just started. Well, the secret part of the war was still going on, and then they made it acknowledge it to the world that we were at war. I volunteered to go over to Vietnam, but they told me I was young and I didn't know enough. which was a blessing, especially being in the Navy. And I ended up going to Cuba,
Oh,
Guantanamo Bay. So while there, I got a book and started studying to be a postal clerk.
okay.
So I was one of the few blacks that were interested in being a postal clerk. I wanted to see, the reason I wanted to be a postal clerk, so when I got out of the service, I'd have some place to work. And
Yeah.
so they had classes, but they didn't send me. They had classes in Maryland, so they sent all the other folks to Maryland to go to school for postal clerk. But the only
Mm.
person passed was me. Now they don't know
Wow.
what to do. They don't know what to do
Wow.
with me. Because I learned everything out the book. So I've never sold a money order, nothing. I just learned it out the book. Then I ended up being transferred to the USS Putnam, 757 out of Norfolk, Virginia. 279 people, one postal clerk, me. And then I learned how my skills as a postal clerk. And
Wow.
then I made it up to E4. But when you're out on them 50-foot swells, that water 50 foot high, you look
Mm.
at the top of it, you're looking down like you're in the Grand Canyon. And then
Wow.
when you're in the bottom, you're looking up like you're at the mouth of the Grand Canyon. I said, nope, I'm out of here. I did 4 years. And I said, it was time to do something else. So I left there and went to United US UPS, UPS down there on Seacott in Livernois,
Okay.
working at because I was a postal clerk, so I was accept the package doing the grids, and it was kind of boring. And one day I looked out the window and I saw a scout car go by. Woo 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 woo! It was officer in trouble. All these scout cars. I said, "Dang, I like that." My father told me, he gave me some good advice. He said, "Go down and join the police department." But I had taken the test to be a bus driver. I
Mm.
said, "Well, I'm gonna be a bus driver." He said, "No, you don't want to race the clock. The police officers, they don't do nothing. They just look like they're busy." But
Oh.
he said, now think about this. He said, they make you think that it's a hard job, but it's not. When you think about it, and you think about it, how before you get that run, you just taking it easy, bagging
Yeah.
somebody up,
Yep.
doing what you. So I joined the police department, and I was in the first 50-50 class.
Mm.
68H was the first 50-50 class, right down the middle, and they were throwing us out. If you sneezed taking the test, you were gone.
Mm.
They were trying to get rid of us. I went to the fourth precinct. While at the fourth precinct, it was very slow. I wanted to learn police work. I guess I'm getting off of your topic of being a
No,
dad.
you're not. You're. This is
Okay.
interesting. Keep going.
All right. So at the fourth precinct, I went out there and being the fourth or fifth black there, we walked beats. So I walked beats on Ford Street from Junction to the Boulevard by myself,
Wow.
or they had me out on Verner from Clark Street to Junction by myself,
Mm.
or they'll have me on Verner between Dix and Central, and then some more, a couple blacks, a few other blacks came in, Marion Henry and
Uh oh, we lost you.
and we started walking beats, and then we had a Lieutenant Garrett. He came from the 10th precinct to the 4th precinct, and he started putting blacks in cars. So we
Oh.
started working together, and we would bag them up, but they wouldn't bag us up. And then one day I said, I want to learn real police work, so I went to the 10th precinct, or 7th.
Mm.
10, since I lived on the boulevard, 10th was closer.
Oh.
And went to the 10th precinct, 3 homicides the first week. I said, whoa. And then I never forget it, because in the 4th precinct, the jumper didn't get out the car. So now
Huh?
I'm over here, yeah, the jumper, they didn't get out the car. They stayed there with their pencil and paper. They were trying to send us a message of being young and black and showing us the wrong way to do police work. But I was working with Norm McKenzie, and we were on the boulevard and Grand River, right down from Northwest, and making a stop. And I sat in the car, and he said, "Hey man, this is 10th precinct. We both get out the car." I apologized. I told him, "Man, I didn't know." I said, "It won't happen again." And his uniform was so clean. He was a Marine, His pants were so creased, his shoes was so shine. Man, I went home that night, started shining my shoes, got the iron out, started ironing my pants. I said, oh, I'm over here with the real police because they had some brothers over there in the 10th precinct. And
Yeah.
that was pretty nice. I learned a lot from them. And then I went from there to stress. We were on the ship that didn't shoot nobody, but my partner got killed, Fred Hunter, in August.
Wow. What
And
happened?
we had went to an office in trouble out in Southwest Detroit, and we usually stop by Ford Hospital and talk to people. But he didn't feel good that day, and so he asked me would I drive, and so we went through the Ford Hospital, and we went out on Seward and Poe. Unbeknown to us, they were getting ready to rob a dope house, and we happened to pull up and see this group of people exchanging, doing something that was unusual at that time of the evening. And we got out to investigate. Since he was the jumper, he got out on the curb side. I came and walked around the car. We lined him up against the wall.
Mhm.
And a kid named Frank Nitty went between the houses. Fred went out behind him and he got shot. He came back and said he was shot. I threw
Wow.
him in the car, put him in the car, and took him down to Ford Hospital. That's why I know it's a Lord up there because, when you get to the boulevard, you make the right turn and you got to go almost a half a mile to come back around.
Right.
I didn't do that. I went left against traffic in the center lane with my lights and flashing and the siren and going in a plain clothes car. And it was just like a open road and scout cars going back to the scene and everything. But when they got there, you drowned in his blood. It
Wow.
wasn't pleasant.
How young was he? Because you were young when you went on.
23. He was about 20, 21. Yeah. So it was kind of rough for a little while. But we went on tried to track him down, but he got blown away trying to rob a dope house. With a sawed-off shotgun took him out
Mm.
because he had sent a message to me telling me he was coming for me. I said, "Don't worry about it, brother. I'm looking for you too." They talking about you could stay at home, but I said, "Nope, I ain't staying at home. I got to find somebody. I'm on a mission."
Yeah.
And that from there I went to Ident because it was time for a rest after stress. And then I went to Wayne County Community College, and while I went to Wayne County Community College, Lonnie Peak was my instructor over there on Joy Road and Claremont, that little Catholic school they had over there, but it was a outlier of Wayne County Community. Said go out and get involved in politics. Got Coleman Young and Judge Bell running for mayor
Hmm.
against the police chief Nichols. So I went down and went to my uncle who worked for John Conyers, Arthur Featherstone, and he said, "Go with Coleman Young, man. Go with Coleman Young." So I went down there and I was sweeping up the front of the doors and I was typing. And Tom Moss came in and said, "Aren't you on the police department?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, we need you to do security." I said, "Man, I don't know nothing about no security. I've never done security." And he said, "Well, I tell you what." I said, "Plus I work stress, and you probably don't want me if I work stress." He said, "Man, if you here working for Coleman Young, you got to be all right." So that Saturday, they said, I met him, and he said, "But that voice, young man, you ain't helping me, you helping yourself." And he wouldn't, truer words could not have been spoken.
Wow. Yeah.
And the rest of that is history. I got into executive protection because of him. He sent me to Germany, Bundeskriminalis, learned from the Germans, went to Interpol, learned terrorism in Lyon, France, at Interpol headquarters, and all kinds of driving schools, all kinds of CI, well, let me put it this way, countermeasure schools, all down here in
Wow.
Florida and stuff like that.
And you
So,
still in your 20s doing all this?
yeah, uh-huh.
Wow. Wow. Now tell us what stress stood for. I know, but for the people that don't know what stress is, what did that stand for?
Okay, Stress was an undercover unit that was
Hmm.
supposed to go out. What we were originally supposed to do, we go out and get all number one crimes: murder, rape, arson, and bank robbers. If the FBI might come in and say, we're looking for so and so for bank robbery. And we said, or Gil Hill would come in and say, hey, we're looking for this guy for this or that. And so we go out and get him. But it was also a decoy unit where they dress as women, or if there was a lot of rapes, they dress as a woman on the street to see if they could catch somebody. And Didi was out there. He never did. He didn't shave his mustache, but he was out there in his high heels and his dress, and we'd be around looking and stuff. So this drunk comes up, hey, sweetie. He said, hey, sweetie. He took his mustache and showed his mustache. My man say, you're sick. You're sick, falling back. Man, I was on the ground cracking up. But the other shift, Peterson and them, they made it kind of rough. They were wiping out everybody. And they
Wow.
would make, I think about 13 people got killed or more. I
Wow.
kept on, I kept on my paperwork. I still got it over there from all of the rest that I made on stress,
Wow.
and the accommodations we got for closing some serious things. There's serious crimes. Like, I give you an example. Gil Hill came in and said, "I'm looking for this guy. He wanted for robbery." And he hangs out at the pool hall over there on McGraw and Warren.
Mm-hmm.
So me and Mike Blunt, we were partners, and said, "Well, we go over there and check it out for you." So we got out. Now we go directly over there,
Mm-hmm.
but there was a gas station here, and the pool hall is across the street on McGraw. We park to the left of the gas station. It's real cold, so we bundling up. We walking past the gas station and go over to the pool hall and look. Only about 6 people in there,
Mm-hmm.
looking through the window, and we don't see him. So we walking back to the gas station. I said, "Man, it sure is cold." And look in the gas station, and who's sitting there? The guy we want to arrest. He's sitting there talking to the owner. I pull out the picture. I say, "Ain't that him?" He said, "Yeah." So we went in there like, "Man, it's cold out there." They said, "Yeah, it sure is." Put out a gun, say, "Stress, you're under arrest for robbery." We took him back downtown and killed him. Said, "Y'all set a record. That was like 35 minutes." But anyway, go ahead. You got questions. I'm just running my mouth.
No, any kind of history is worth listening to, and you got plenty of stories. So we're
Oh
gonna get to
yeah.
the part about you being a dad, but
Oh okay.
this is
All
interesting,
right.
especially about we don't hear too much about the police department back in the day. Now you said you came on in '68.
Yeah, 68H.
What was that? Was it right at
Yeah.
'67?
Yeah. I was in Cuba when they were burning down Detroit.
Okay, because I was like, you missed that. Yeah, you
No,
didn't come on.
I might have missed it, but the effects were still there.
Yes, yeah, because I grew up. Yeah, I grew up around, so I remember.
Yeah.
I remember. I was young, but I remember seeing stuff. Yeah, yeah, I remember. So, yeah,
And
that
so
was
I ended up being one of the top people in executive protection in the state of Michigan.
okay. Yeah.
Yes.
So when you joined the police department, when you after you came out of the service, were you looking for a career, or were you just saying, "I'm looking so I can pay my bills"?
I was looking, I guess you could say, I wanted to, I thought it was, like all of us when we join the police department, we think we can save the world.
Right. You want to help people.
Right. But after 5 or 6 years, when you say, oh, hell no, I want to save me. Uh, you go to a run on the 4th of July in the 10th precinct, and the guy that killed his buddy because he put too much barbecue sauce on the ribs. Come on, man.
That's crazy.
How you?
Or they didn't beat up somebody or shot somebody because they ate the last piece of chicken or they ate the last rib. I mean,
Oh,
you like
man.
what? So you know it's alcohol and drugs involved in that. Can't nobody be that crazy.
Well, these guys were playing Russian roulette, and they had a whole lot of apartment buildings over there around Chicago when we were
Yeah.
there. We had to shoot. You never got on the elevator because in Chicago they were Molotov cocktailing them and burning them in the elevator. So you had to hit the steps everywhere you go.
Right. Right.
And it was just Chicago between Dexter and 94 the Lodge. I mean, not 94, but the Lodge.
Yeah.
There was a whole lot of apartment buildings over there.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
then the people, it was kind of rough. And then you had the Black Panthers, and
Mhm.
they were over around 14th and Davison. And
Yeah.
you had I forgot what they call them, blue zones or red zones. It was a zone that if you went over there for just a police report, you'd have to send two or three cars. I
Right.
forgot
Yeah,
what
they
it was.
still had that when I came on the job. I
What is
can't
what
remember.
yeah, that zone, and because I remember
Yeah.
me and this brother were working together with a lot of brothers in TN, but I can't think of his name now. We got out the car and we stepped into the apartment building like that, and they said, "Bing! This is a zone." We jumped back, ran back, jumped back in the car. The radio. This is the so and so zone. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, 1016. Sorry, 1016. 1012, 1013. Go over to 1016 at so and so address.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
lie.
Yeah. I cannot
Mm.
think of what that's called. Yeah, but I remember because
Yeah, I
the
remember it
projects
well.
that were over off of Evergreen and Schoolcraft over there. That was
Yeah,
a zone. You Nope, they didn't send one scout car. You had to send, at least two. And I
yeah.
was in number 8. That was number 6. And they called for backup, unit from number 6. And about 4 or 5 of us from number 8 scout cars went over there to help because they were the
Right.
Smith homes. That's what they were. And they were
Oh,
like,
okay.
oh, a Delta zone. That's what we used to call it.
Delta.
Delta
That's what it
zone.
was. Delta
Yeah.
zone.
It
Yep,
was a
Delta.
Delta zone, and they was like,
Yeah,
they in the
that's right.
Delta zone. So yeah, we all went over there because we know Delta is not good. So
Not
yeah,
good for your health.
no. Yeah, so we had to head over that way, and that was a good thing back in the day that when they called a priority, you dropped what you were doing and you headed towards whoever was calling for help. Yeah.
I remember Wynn got in the office in trouble. There was a guy that was always shooting at the scout cars over there on 12th Street,
Mm.
and they never caught him. And I
Wow.
remember Wynn was over there, and you could hear him in the radio, we need help. They shoot. You could hear them bullets, bow, bow, bing, bow, bing. I need help, GD. I need help, doggone it. I need help. Send me some help, doggone it. And
Mm.
this is a family show, so I use doggone it. And
Yeah.
we would do get over there to help him, but they never did find him. They put people, officers out there walking the beat, not walking the beat, but plain clothes and all types, stress units, everybody. They never caught that guy.
Yeah. Number 10 was something else, though.
Number
Yeah.
10, I think number 10 every day because when I became assistant chief, I remembered how to to do paperwork and I knew how to do police work. And so it,
Because some of everything was in there.
it was some of
Hmm.
everything there, and it was a good run. I had a good run. I can't complain. With a
Yeah.
little bit of Michael Jackson and Aretha Franklin and Smokey Robinson, Berry Gordy, Isaac Hayes, and on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
And I never signed a contract. If I didn't like you, I didn't work for you.
Mm. All right.
Right.
Yeah, that executive protection security that came in really, really good.
Well, I had Coleman Young was very receptive when I was working with him. I was down in spring training with the Tigers with him and the owner Monahan, and I read an article about Secret Service had classes that they offered to
Hmm.
police, regular police. And if the Democrats were in, the Democrats would go, and if the Republicans were in, the Republicans would go because the affiliation and that type of thing. And I got a chance myself, and George Hall got a chance to go.
Yeah.
And then I went back to command school. Then I went to Cobbit's Executive Protection 9 Lives class down in Maryland,
Mm.
and all kind of driving, different type of driving schools. The Germans were the one that turned me around. Though. I went
How
over to work.
so?
Well, because all my all of my shooting life on the Detroit Police Department, I was always a sharpshooter. I could never make it to expert.
Hmm.
So now I'm over there in Germany, and they got this state of the art shooting range. The guy's sitting behind a command center like he's up in NASA. And
Wow.
then along like the wall behind me, it was all white. So they'll show you a green ball and a red tube, and something else. But the green ball is what you have to shoot. So that green ball would turn red. You can't shoot it yellow. Then it go green. You take your shot. So you might have a green ball up here and a green ball down here. Bam, bam, double take. And then after you shot, they just moved the curtain a hair, and it looks like it's never been shot at. It was $1 million shooting range. So now they'll have you'll put they'll say give you a run, and then on that the video they showing this movie in ahead of you, and the woman walk out with the groceries like combat course, or you see a guy with a shotgun and you take action and you shoot and things like that, and they time you, and they'll
Oh,
have siren, and they'll have all the commotion of people on the side of the street. It was very intense and it was very good. Anyway, because I'm right-handed, I was forcing when you go to shoot, you force into the right.
mm-hmm.
So you say take your left hand and lock the left hand.
Okay.
So now that the left hand is locked, you
Mm-hmm.
can't go to the right. And I was the expert. I came back so blunt. I said, man, I've been coming out here for 16 darn years. And I'm ashamed. I go down there for them, over there with them for 1 month. I'm an expert. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Yeah.
Lesson well learned. Lesson well
Yes, it
learned.
was. I was very fortunate. I
Yeah.
was I was fortunate.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So now, when you got this great job as a police officer in your early 20s, when did you start thinking about getting married and having a family?
Well, what happened is that my significant other at the time, we weren't married, but we had a first child, and then we had a second child. And I said I ain't gonna have no two kids running around without my name. They had my name, but they had to have a father. So that's when we got married, and
Okay.
we stayed together for about 8 or 9 years. And then when you're on the road, and you're doing a lot of executive protection. Sometimes you lose the spot that you have in your life. And so we went separate ways. And I go and pick the kids up when my turn came. And on weekends, and we go bowling. And let's see, we used to go bowling. And I used to go and pick up my nephew. So it was three of them. And I invented a game called Give It Up. So what I do is I take two gloves,
Mm-hmm.
but it was three of them. And so I take a hard ball, and not a soft ball, but a hard ball. And I'd go out to Belle Isle, and we spend the day out, a lot of time out to Belle Isle, and I'd hit this ball. So if you
Mm-hmm.
didn't hustle, you had to get your glove up and go sit up under the tree till somebody missed. And it got to
Oh.
the point they would be like out there for like 20 and 30 minutes before they made a mistake or miss. So now you didn't they didn't want to give it up. Man,
Mm-hmm.
my
Made it
kids,
competitive.
right, University of Michigan, though my baby son wanted to start a foul on him because he could pitch left and right handed. I had him at third base, but I wanted him to be a catcher.
Okay.
And when they went to, I can't think of the Catholic school, something West. My baby son was
Lutheran
a
West?
Lutheran West over there in Chicago.
Yeah.
Right, my baby son was a quarterback, and my oldest son, his older brother, was wide receiver, and they were wearing him out.
Whoa.
Yeah, and so my baby son wanted to play basketball, but he didn't. He was slow. I video him. I say, "See, you the last one on, up and down the court," but he left baseball, and then he start. He left baseball and uh, left foot. Let me see. He wanted to play baseball. He left baseball to go play basketball,
Mm-hmm.
but it didn't work out too well for him because, like I told him, you don't hustle enough.
Yeah.
And but they worked all they got good jobs. My baby son is working for was working for the board of education, and my oldest son was getting ready to retire from Chrysler because he like 56. I'm like,
Wow.
man, well hell, I'm 78.
Congratulations.
Hey,
You don't look it. Yeah.
keep talking. I feel it.
You had a good life though, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was blessed.
Yeah.
I sit back all the time and wonder how in the world did I get in to go out with a Michael Jackson through Africa. Then I thought about it. I first met Michael Jackson when I was running security for Coleman Young.
Mhm.
When he donated the glove over there on the boulevard
Yeah.
at the Motown Museum. Well, I had to plan all of that with TAC
Okay.
Ops. So what did we do? We closed down the side of the street where you drive from 12th to Woodward. We closed that down, made that detour around behind the back of the Motown Museum.
Mm-hmm.
And then we opened up the other side where you could go from the Ford Hospital to 12th Street. Left that open. But we left the crowd so that they could come across. And they were
Mm-hmm.
running from Cole's funeral home all the way down to about 2 or 3 blocks past Motown Museum. And it was
Wow.
raining and it was cold. And from there, we went to the Berry Gordy Mansion. And that's when I first met him. And he had his cook there. And we were sitting over there talking to his cook. His cook was carving birds out of apples.
What?
Yeah, he could carve. He take that knife and make a big bird out of apples and stuff like that. It was unbelievable.
Wow.
And I remember because he walked by the living room and he did that patented shake. I'm on the Zoom call, Bud, and that's my son coming in. He down here in Florida visiting me.
Oh,
So
that's nice.
he gave that patented wave with his hand and kept and walked on through. I never knew till later on that I'd be witnessing that patented wave from then on because we were in Johannesburg,
Mm-hmm.
and he wanted to go through the mall, and I said, "Well, if you want to go to the mall, you got to give me a half hour because what I'd have to do is go and find different places that he could go into to relax and rest."
Mm-hmm.
And it was interesting. He said, "I come back and say, are you ready?" He said, "Yeah." And we go out to Michael. I want you to visualize Somerset, all right, with
Okay.
a hotel right next to it.
Mm-hmm.
So when you come out to one of the parking lots, you walk in and you're right next to the mall. So we go in, and as we're walking, they notice it's Michael Jackson. So now it's like 20, 30 people. And then we get to the escalator, we come up the escalator. And he's there looking this way, but I'm standing up looking down as we go
Mm-hmm.
up the escalator. And the people look like mice. So we get to the second floor, and you got about 400 people following him now.
Wow.
We go by the McDonald's in the store, right? In the mall, the kids stop flipping the hamburgers and jumping over the counter following him.
They stopped working?
They stop
Wow.
working, they start following him. And we get up to now we didn't get to the third to fourth floor. I had a sports store that I took him into because, like I said, I went to advance. I go to people first and I say, "My name is Ron Fleming. I'm working security for Michael Jackson. If he's going to go through the mall, is it possible we can bring him in here? But I'm going to need you to close the store if you don't mind. But the customers that are in here can stay." He said, "Yeah, right." I said, "No, I'm serious." He said, "Well, if you're serious, yes." And so they'd be tripping when we could walk in there.
Actually come in
So,
there.
so this is the way we set it up. I'd have a car on the first floor and then a car on the second floor. So when we went to the third floor, the car on the first floor would go to the third floor while we're on the second floor. The car
Mm-hmm.
on the second floor would go to the fourth floor. All right, so we on the third floor, and I say, "Michael, you want to go somewhere?" "No, I'm ready to go back to the room." I said, "Okay." Now, this way is a crowd of people. And I mean, all them people have been following us. This way is leading out the mall to the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I tell them to wait here, and I walk out, and I walk down to the end of the parking lot, and I said, "Tell the driver, this is what I want you to do. Stand here. When you see me walk out, get in the car and pull it up slowly. And we're gonna put Mr. Jackson in and get him out of here. Okay. So I said, "You ready?" He said, "Yeah." So he walks out and makes that
Waving.
right turn. By the time he gets to the end of the doorway, slam the door, car gone, and he gone. Now
Okay.
you got all these people like looking. Now they know he ain't there. I said, Michael Jackson's gone. And people they ain't thinking about me. I said, okay. I tell security, walk them and tell them Michael Jackson's not here anymore. And
Mhm.
some of them still stayed after we got back to the hotel. Yeah.
Wow.
And
That
people,
had to be that had to be very interesting.
we were in Zurich, Switzerland, and at seven. Okay, let me go back. We fly into an airport. We don't get out in the airplane like y'all, like we do, normal
Mhm.
people. We get out the airplane to go down the steps and get into a van, and the van takes us to a room which is about the size of your living room and dining room, decked out with all kinds of food and pop and drinks and stuff like that. Somebody comes in and collects your passport, takes it to and get it stamped, come back, give you your passport, and take you and put you on another van so that you can go into another to the next plane, because they know if you go through the airport, it ain't gonna work.
Yeah, chaos.
Now we didn't flew from Cape Town to overnight to Zurich, Switzerland. Michael
Wow.
and them are going to L.A. from Zurich, Switzerland. Me and Mr. Barton are going to Detroit from Zurich, Switzerland. And he said, "Let's go to the airport at 7 in the morning." We walk into Zurich, Switzerland airport at 7 in the morning, and these old people running behind him. Michael Jackson, Michael Jackson. I turned him and said, "You bad, man. You bad." So we went to
Wow.
Namibia, Angola, Cape Town, Durham. Maybe quite a fit. It was nice. It was nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you have Aretha too? Did you?
Uh-huh. I got some pictures for you. I'm gonna see if you can see. If you can you see that picture there?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Who
I can see.
who is that?
That's Aretha in the green.
All right. Who's it next to her?
Look like Michelle, but
That's
it's
Oprah.
that's Oprah. Okay.
And then Jamie Foxx,
Yep. I can see Jamie. It looks
myself,
like Tyrese.
and Tyrese. Yep. You got
Yeah.
you got that one. Let's go. Yeah, who is that there?
Oh, Biden and you.
That's when he was the vice president, and the Secret Service had been working with them, and I was getting ready to retire.
Uh-huh.
They said, "Go behind that curtain, Ron." So I went behind that curtain, and he said, "I'm just standing there." And next thing I know, the vice president, they come and say, "Mr. President, Vice President, this is Ron Fleming." And he called me up. He gave me a coin that says Vice President of the United States, put it in my hand, because
Wow.
we had been working together for such a long time. This here is Aretha Franklin, and who is that there? Can you know the back of that head is?
Uh
Elton John,
no,
and
really?
he signed my laminate.
Okay.
And this is because this is Aretha was doing a fundraiser for him,
Okay.
and this is her last concert. This is her last concert, and that was at that event. Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see her
See
standing up
all
here.
that way? Now Elton John and them was standing down in here,
Okay.
and they brought her one of the prettiest purses. And I said when I took this picture, I said this is probably Aretha's last concert. I was one of her pallbearers.
Really?
Yeah, she was so good, and she loved my. I used to cook banana puddings for her.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Fleming, are you going to make a banana pudding for us? You know we're going to be on the road. I said yes, ma'am.
Did
And
you
she
eat her
liked it.
cooking a lot? Because they said she loved to cook.
She loved to cook. Yes, yes. We, but most of the time we were on the road.
Mm-hmm.
But every now and then she when we were over at the Fly Jock's house in Dallas, Texas, Tom Joyner.
Time
He
John,
said,
yeah.
"Mr. Fleming, you need to make a banana pudding for me." And I was making a banana pudding. She was making oxtails. It was soulful as could be, boy. It was
Oh,
really
yeah.
nice. All right,
Yeah.
let's see. We got this one here is flying from Namibia Africa. This you can see right there. He caught me off guard,
Okay.
and then I got myself together for the second one.
Okay.
That's flying. That's the president's plane of Namibia flying from Angola to
Okay.
Windhoek, Namibia. This one here
Nice.
is when he came to Detroit when they were trying to get the casino.
Yeah. Is that Barton next to him?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That's him and Barton were going to buy Sun City.
Mm-hmm.
Called Sol Cosner. I think not probably pronouncing his name correctly. He built Atlantis.
Okay.
He wanted to sell Sun City, so Michael Jackson and Mr. Barton went over to see about buying it,
Mm-hmm.
and the deal fell through.
Oh, okay.
This is one of my favorites. That's who you know who that is, right?
I can't see it clear. Is
Can
that
you?
Muhammad Ali?
Yes, ma'am. And see that picture he holding?
Yeah.
I took that picture back in '76 and gave him a copy. He
Whose
said,
hand is he shaking?
"Huh?" He said, "Huh?"
Whose hand is he shaking?
Coleman Young's.
Oh, I can't see. Okay, I can see it now. I can see
I
his
took
face
that
now.
picture of him with Coleman Young, and then he signed mine to Ronald Muhammad Ali, 1976, in the other room. And
Wow.
so I gave him another copy,
Yeah.
and that's him, his wife, JJ, and the guy caught me with my head down.
Uh,
All right,
yeah.
and then which one is this? Oh, this is in this one here is in Cape Town.
Okay. You
Everybody,
had a little weight on you back then too.
oh yeah. Well, I was
Yeah.
lifting weights. I was into the martial arts.
Okay.
I was a whole lot of different things. And this is my favorite, one of my favorite. I hope you can see it. This is when Mandela came to Detroit.
Oh, I remember I was at Tiger Stadium for that. That
Were
was a
you?
big that was a big to do.
No.
Yeah. That's when I learned that we had so many female executive lieutenants and above. I didn't know that. I
Well,
didn't
see what
realize rank
happened.
officers.
This is me here.
Okay.
I was standing next to Mandela, right?
Uh-huh.
I let Jared Jackson in front of me, and I ended up being on the end of the picture. You see Jimmy Younger, he didn't go nowhere. I
Yes.
down there with Benny Napoleon.
Uh-huh. Wow.
Wasn't that Jimmy Younger said, "Oh no, y'all don't come up in here." He was smarter than me.
Did he have his toothpick in his mouth? Because you know
Always. You talking about
he
Jimmy Younger?
yes.
I think he took it out for this shot.
I was hoping.
Let's see. Ike McKinnon is there. Yeah, he took it out for that shot. He even smiling.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nice. That was very nice.
So, what other questions you got for me?
All right. So, did you want to have a daughter?
Yeah, but it wasn't in the cards.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So, before you had your sons, before they were born, what excited you about being a dad?
I just wanted to be a better father than my father was to me,
Okay.
and I always thought I would be that because he was hard. And you know, when you think about it, what black men were going through during that time in the '40s and the '50s, and racism and all of that kind of stuff, they couldn't do nothing with against the guy that was giving them the hard time, so they brought it home and took it out on their families.
Yeah.
And it happened all through to quite a few black families and during that time because we all thought that fathers beat mamas and we wasn't justified, but we didn't like it, but wasn't nothing we could do because we were young kids. But as we came in, we made sure it stopped.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what happened to your? Why did you take your nephew in? What happened to his dad?
His dad, he had a run in with the law, and
Okay.
he was incarcerated. And so, as my sister's only kid, and it was just the right thing to do. They all were the same age, and he turned out to be a fine young man.
Yeah.
I love them all. I love them dearly, all three of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he did
So
what he was supposed to do
okay.
with what
And
he
you
had to
say
work with. I'm sorry,
okay.
with what he had to work with. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So now you said you guys used to take them to Belle Isle and let them play catch. What else did you do? Did you guys go fishing
No,
or
no, my mother and I used to fish years ago, but they weren't into fishing. They go bowling on Saturdays. Um, Bowling. Go back. I take them down to the police gym. Remember number headquarters. I go down there, and on Sundays, Ike McKinnon and all us be out there playing basketball, and they be down at the other end playing.
Mm-hmm.
The three of them and having a good time. Oh man, they did a whole lot of things. I can't think of that. Maybe I need to call him in there and ask him. But I
Did
know
you
we.
guys go swimming?
Oh yeah, I took them to swim because I wanted to learn how to swim. That's when I was amazed how they jumped in that water and was swimming. I had to learn how to swim in the Navy. I didn't know how to swim until I got in the Navy, and that they were swimming at 5 and maybe 8 or 9 years old. That blew my
Mm-hmm.
mind. Yeah,
Yeah.
at the Y downtown.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to take them to the Y too. Yeah,
Yeah.
bowling. Like I said, we used to go bowling. The whole family, mama and sisters. They had family teams not Sundays, but on Saturday. No, probably had to be Sundays because Sundays was light bowling on with the leagues.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was probably Sundays.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. Well, when it comes to swimming, a lot of people say their moms, black moms didn't want their kids to swim because they always thought they was gonna drown. My cousin was like that with her kids. They never learned how to swim because she said no, they might drown, and I was like, wow, that's funny.
That's what I thought was so amazing. They took you in the classroom and you could sit back and watch. And
Mm-hmm.
they took these kids, man, they had babies. They take them babies and let them
Yes.
babies go. Them babies be swimming their butt off. Now the hell you know what they know about swimming. That was
They
that, that
was
was
just
that, that was amazing to me.
so. You were still able to spend time with the kids after the divorce. Were they young
Yeah.
enough to understand? Because you did you move out or did your wife move
No,
out?
I moved out because I gave her the house because I didn't want my kids living in no apartment building.
Right,
And my
right.
mother had a two-family flat over there on the boulevard, so I took the lower part of that and gave her rent for the month. And then I go
Hmm.
get them and they come over and stay with us, stay with me. And
Yeah,
when I went during the weekend, or if she had something she had to do, I'd come and get them, and we'd do what we had to do, what we wanted to do. I just asked them what they had planned, maybe go to a Pistons game or something like that, and
yeah,
it worked out.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, he down here now for the week. He just got in last Saturday. He
Okay.
leaving Saturday. Came in from Detroit.
Yeah. Now
They
that's your oldest.
Yeah, so they come in. I give them the car keys and they go do they on the beach or wherever they want to go, and they just
This
have a
is their
good.
vacation spot, huh?
So how you gonna beat it? You come down there, you get the car keys, you got your own Airbnb, and you go to seafood places and you have a good time. So I'm just fortunate and glad that I'm in a position to do it because it's something that I learned from being with executives. So, see, the thing about it, when you get executive protection,
Hmm.
all of a sudden you start looking at life a different way because
Right. They live
uh,
different, don't they?
yeah, like I'm out with Roger King. He's a billionaire with Michael Moore, the heavyweight champion of the world, and we ride out
Hmm.
on this cigar boat, and it was rough. And he turns and says, "Kind of rough out here." I said, "Yeah, it's kind of rough. You want to go to Bahamas? Hey, wait, y'all want to go to Bahamas?" And everybody looking around. Say, "You want to go to Bahamas? Yeah, let's go. Okay. What, about
Wow.
3 hours? Yeah, okay. Pick up the phone on the boat. Yeah, the pilot have the jet. We're gonna fly to Boca. They're gonna spend the night, and we'll be back in maybe a couple of days. All right,
Wow.
see you guys at 2 o'clock. So I get out to the airport at Boca and tell the pilot, Mr. King will be ready to go and wheels up at 2 o'clock. Well, Boca Raton don't have many of us walking around private airports. So
Mm.
quite naturally, he didn't pay any attention to me.
Okay.
So Roger King goes and see when he flopped in the chair,
Hmm.
that means wheels up. So he
Okay.
flopped in the chair and he said, "What's going on, Flim?" I said, "Well, I tried to tell him about go get him." Pilot, and I'll just be nice. When I sit in my chair, when I sit my little behind in my chair, that means I want to wheels up. Yes, sir, Mr. King. Pull the door closed. If you want to, you can buckle up on private planes.
Okay.
25 minutes later in the Bahamas. You
What?
land in the Bahamas. You get in a helicopter and fly over to Paradise Island. Get in a limousine and go from your front door to 3 houses down the block. And all you did, whatever you need, you sign the bill.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a different lifestyle for sure.
yes, it is.
Yeah.
I like it. That's why I keep trying to buy lottery tickets so I can do my own.
Okay.
It ain't
So,
happened yet.
all right. So why didn't your kids follow in your footsteps and be going to law enforcement? Did they ever, was it anything about it? Did y'all discuss it, or did they just fall into what they were doing based on what they took up in school?
His mother was a sergeant on the police department, Lottie Fleming, and she said, "Oh heck no." So that basically it. You know, mamas, y'all always had the last word,
Yes, yes,
and
yes.
so that was basically it.
She didn't want them on there, so that's they found better careers somewhere else.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
All
And
right.
I ain't arguing because you
Yeah.
can't. You know, most of us can't win when it comes to the decision. When y'all make a decision.
Okay, I got it. I
But
got it.
but at least we smart enough to know.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So when they got out on their own, did they call and ask you for advice about money and relationships? And do they still call you for advice?
Not really. At 56 years old, I think you about pretty grown on what you need to do.
Oh, yeah. But
Back
when
in
they
the
got out, when they first got out, like
yeah,
in their 20s.
yeah, when they were in their 20s, they definitely call. I like a Michael Jackson jacket, or uh, I want a car. Yeah, okay. I listen. I say, are you going to college? No. So you're not going to college, and you want me to reward you with a car because you're not going to college? Yeah, ain't happening.
Did you buy them a car when they were in high school?
No,
You didn't buy them a used car to get back and forth?
they didn't ask me.
Oh, okay. All right. They
They,
just wanted one after they got old enough to drive and be out on
well,
their own.
basically, be out on their own and get back and forth to work. Now that's a
Yeah.
different situation.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So, what do you say? Each of them have good jobs. So, what's the oldest doing? You say he's about to retire, right?
Yeah, from Chrysler.
Okay.
He
And
was
then
a
you.
draftsman in the service.
Okay.
Right, so he's doing his setting up his own business.
Okay.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
your youngest is doing. He's still working, right?
Right, he's a manager at he was with the board, then he went over to this chemical company. He's been there about 20 some odd years, and he's a foreman,
Okay. And
and
then
he
you're
seems to like it. So that's all that matters, as long as they're happy.
right.
He the one with the kids, so they seem to be doing all right. That's good
Okay.
enough for me. I'm happy if they're happy.
And then the third one, what is he doing?
He's a supervisor at Chrysler also, and he's hound up the food chain at Chrysler. That's all I can say. And I can't think of where he works at Stellantis.
Yeah, Stellantis.
Stellantis.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you would know because that's one of
Yeah.
my contracts. Yeah,
Yep. Yep. Stellantis.
right. How long you been
Yeah.
with City Shield?
I got there in 2022.
Oh, you
Yeah,
been a
about two
while.
years.
Oh, okay. How you like it?
I love it.
All
Yeah.
right, good. I'm gonna make sure Al know that you love it. Yeah.
You can't, I always say, don't tell people you having too much fun because then, they try to change it. You're
Hey,
like,
well,
oh, it's a job.
well, you know a few people up the food chain, so you set for life. All you get, and you got the number. So shoot, I don't see you having no problem. And now
No,
if you don't
they're,
use it, shame on you.
look, Al and Kathy are so, so good to everybody. They're really,
Yes,
really nice
yes,
and
they are.
patient.
Yes,
And
they are.
yeah, yeah, for them to pull off that draft, that NFL draft, whew, that was a task. That was impressive. That
500
was
people. You hired
that. Oof,
500 people in a
yes,
month
that
and trained them.
yes. In the small amount of time, that was very, very impressive.
You
That
got
speaks
that right.
volumes to who they are and what
Yep,
they can do. So yeah,
yep.
that was very. Yeah, you got to take your hat off to them. Yeah.
I do it every day. I love them,
Oh
man.
yeah, that was impressive. And then I watched the video of him. when he first started City Shield. They have it on there. It's on the website, and you can watch him and how he speaks about security and all that stuff. He makes you want to come there and work.
Well, you
You
got
know,
to remember, he ran Homeland Security for when I was working for the police department. He ran Homeland Security for Michigan, Illinois, Ohio, and Indiana.
yeah, it's very impressive to hear his knowledge. Yeah, the amount of knowledge he has about what he's about security. Yeah, it's very impressive.
He's
Yeah,
the man. Yep.
yeah, yeah, it's
Bless
very
his heart.
impressive. Yeah. Well, all right, Mr. Ryan, we're gonna take a 30-second break.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
so we will be right back. So stay tuned, everybody. The Real Dad Speak. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Thank you.
Hi. Are you thinking about having that backyard barbecue or taking dad to the neighborhood restaurant again this year for Father's Day? Well, why don't you do something different this year and bring your dad out to our Father's Day luncheon being held at the DSO located at 3711 Woodward Avenue in Midtown Detroit. Your dad will enjoy a great meal, live music by the Class Act Band, laughs by comedian Mike Bonner, and our DJ Rod S. will be playing music to help your dad dance off that delicious meal. I'm Sarah McClure, the host of Real Dad Speak podcast, and I'm inviting you to bring your dad out for an afternoon of music, fun, and laughs. We'll have great door prizes and several contests for dad to win more prizes, including Best Dressed Dad. So save the backyard barbecue and messy cleanup for the 4th of July and bring your dad out for an afternoon of music, fun, and laughs. Tickets are available online at dso.org and at the DSO box office in Midtown Detroit. I hope to see you there. Welcome back, everybody, to Real Dad Speak. We're talking with Mr. Ron Fleming, former commander of Mayor Coleman A. Young's executive protection and semi-retired, and just a great guy with a
Hey,
whole lot of history with celebrities, man. A whole lot of history
uh,
with celebrities.
Coleman Young was my first mayor. You know, my last mayor was Duggan.
Oh, okay.
I did security for Kwame. He didn't listen. I
Mm-hmm.
trained Dennis Archer security people with Ike McKinnon. And then Ken Cockrell, I was his deputy chief in the police department. And then McKinnon asked me to come and meet Mr. Duggan, Mayor Duggan, and I went out and met him. And I happened to have my iPad with me that day, and he said, "You bodyguard all those people?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, You can bodyguard me then?" I said, "I'd love to." And then as we started going through the campaign, he said, "If I make it, I'd like you to run my security." I told him I'd be honored. And I left him 8 years ago. And when I turned 70, I told him, "You deserve more than a 70-year-old bodyguard." He couldn't believe I was 70. But
Yeah.
anyway, I did a lot of mayors. So Coleman Young was my first. And let me tell you something, and I'll end with if you want me to.
No,
They
you
were
keep
both
talking.
they were both 55 when they ran for mayor. They both
Wow.
had to go to court to get on the ballot.
Mm.
Remember, Duggan was a write-in, and
Oh
Coleman
yeah.
Young had to go to go to the ballot. It was something else
Mhm.
they had. There was something else they had in common. It was about three or four things that I thought that was just that they had in common.
Wow.
Same age. Oh,
Mm.
last in the field of run,
Wow.
the long shot. Had to
Mm-hmm.
go to court, and they both were outstanding mayors.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You didn't cut me off. You didn't cut
Oh,
me off. All the information you're giving is very interesting. Yeah.
well, thank you.
I
Well,
mean,
it's
I
true.
love history, and it's nice to know. So, what type of guy was Coleman for real? What you saw was what you got.
What you saw is what you got, but basically, he was a very educated man. He was a navigator in the Tuskegee Airmen,
Mm-hmm.
and he was very smart, and he was a real wonderful influence on me. I looked at him like more like being a father figure to me,
Yeah.
and his word was his bond. He honestly looked out for black people, and he was funny. He tell all kinds of jokes and stories, and I just make me laugh a lot. And then I started carrying my camera because saw all the people that he was with,
Mm-hmm.
and I got all these pictures of him of when he was there, and when we went to see first one of the times I went to South Africa was with him for the enthronement of Desmond Tutu, when Archbishop Desmond Tutu became an archbishop. We went over to that because when Mr. Desmond Tutu came to Detroit, the State Department wouldn't handle him. So the mayor called me in and said, Ron, Flem, they called me Flem.
Mm-hmm.
Desmond Tutu's coming to town. I need you to take care of him. So we did. And they caught some guys trying to come in from Canada assassinating. And what
Wow.
we did is we set it up. I flew to New York. No, that was Mandela. I flew to, when not for Desmond Tutu. He went out to D.C. and he'd run in the morning, and they
Mm-hmm.
lost him. But
What?
he was out running, but nobody knew who he was because he was out running. So when I heard that, the first thing I did, I closed down the police gym.
Whoa.
And so the way the security was set up is that we were at that the place right across what is that called? The courtyard right across from in the middle of the center.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we were on the fourth floor. So the way I had it set up is that when you open the elevator, it was a table there with security with all the artillery that we needed, and you had to have a yellow pass, big yellow pass to get on that floor. Otherwise, you couldn't even get on the floor. And
Okay.
then on each end, in the movies, they come up, they take the guy out on the elevator, and I mean on the staircase, and
Stairway. Yeah.
oh hell no. The people at the table look down the end of both halls, and that guy that was in that stairwell is sitting in the lobby, so they
Mm.
see him, right? And if he
Yeah.
stops, he has to go stop somebody walking him down the stairs. Somebody from the center table would go down and back him up.
Okay.
So you couldn't do that. And at
Mm-hmm.
5 in the morning, Desmond Tutu would get up and go run. Now we didn't go to bed at 12. He getting up at
Wow.
5 to go run. So we started the motorcade up, goes in the middle of that, pull right into the police gym, go up there, and he ran around the track, put
That
him back on
track.
the track,
Yeah.
and take him on back. He twisted his arm, his foot,
Mm-hmm.
and then we were walking through Copa Hall. He was limping, and he said, "What's wrong? I twisted my ankle." And the man said, Ron, you got anything for him? And I called one of the medics. I had medics that were on our security, my 22 unit, wrapped him up, took pictures of it and everything, and he went on about his way. And
Mm.
then you had people that come, this this white female came in from California. She thought she was all of that, which she was. But we down in the lobby in the middle there, and I said, "Who we waiting on? We waiting on Miss Smith from California." I said, "No, we ain't waiting on her. Mayor Young is here and Desmond Tutu's here. We don't wait on her. Let's go." So we go
Mm-hmm.
over to Copa Hall. She comes running her little butt up in front of getting all up in my face. You left me. I said, "If you late again, we'll leave you again. We don't wait on
You got the two most important dignitaries there, and
you.
she wants you to wait
Wait,
on
wait,
her.
wait on her, and nobody know who she is. Come on now, get serious. You late? I tell you one thing, she wasn't late no more. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm getting off key. Okay.
No, I'm loving the stories. This is stuff that I can't read this in a book.
No,
I
they've
can't
been
read this
begging me
in.
every time I look around. Somebody asks me to put it on paper. I say I ain't kissing and telling. But they say you got so much to kiss, so much to tell about.
Yeah, you can tell. You can tell.
Yeah, you right.
Yep.
You got a Coleman Young story. You got a stress story. You got the precinct story. Then you
Yeah.
got Michael Jackson and Don Barton and Bella Marshall and.
How was Don and his wife? Because my my former church member, who's my buddy, he was a vice president at the Comerica and the Renaissance Center,
Mm-hmm.
and he told me a
What
story
was his
one time.
name? Heavy set, kind of heavy set.
Hubert Wiley.
That's my banker too.
Yeah,
Do you see
yeah.
him?
Oh yeah, I see him.
Tell him Fleming said hi.
I sure will.
Oh
So he
man, that
tells me,
was my banker. He retired.
yes, yes.
He was
So
at
he
the
tells me,
Renaissance Center.
right. He tells me that what's Barton's wife name? What's her name?
Bella.
Bella. So she comes in and she stands in line because this is how humble she is. And
Mm-hmm.
he see her, he jump up, he bring her to his office, sit her down, have her sign her check, take it to the cashiers, let them process and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And she's probably got a 50, $60,000 check, right? To deposit. He said it's so funny. He said because these little new young lawyers
Mm-hmm.
who have an $8,000 check, they want the treatment that she has. They don't want to stand in line. They come to his office, and they want to sit down and let their stuff get processed. And he was like, you know what? It's just a funny world. How people, they think they've made it, with a little $8,000 check, and here
Well,
she is with tens of thousands, and she's willing to stand in line
yeah.
and
How
wait to
about
be served.
how about millions? Because what happened is that her mother was from. They were from Canada.
Okay.
She was mixed race.
Mm-hmm.
Her uncle owned property that the pipeline went through.
Ooh, that's
So so when he
ooh.
died, he left. She got him this package, letting her know that she was worth $30 million
Wow.
from that oil from that pipeline. So
Wow.
right, so that's why she didn't stand in line, and that's why when this first started, she hired me to work with her, be her
Okay.
security because she was the finance director for the city of Detroit. You know that,
Yeah.
right?
Did
Okay,
not.
I'm sorry.
I did not.
Right, she's the mayor got her from Lansing.
Oh, okay.
She worked for Milligan, and he asked for, and she was the finance director for city of Detroit, and that's how I met her. And so when I left and was doing other things, she hired me to work for her. But
Okay.
Mr. Barton was always out late at night, so she said, "Ron, take care of Mr. Barton," and that's how I got hooked up with Mr. Barton.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
he was worth 200. When he died, he was worth 600, 780 million.
Wow.
And she died.
Wow.
She died a year after him.
Wow. They got kids though, don't they?
One, Alana. Well, yeah, one daughter. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's doing fine. She's doing all right. She's a nice young lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Because I went back after I retired and I met this attorney who's she was working for the board of police commissioners, and she was saying that she used to help she was on Coleman's staff as an attorney, real
Hmm.
pretty lady. I
Oh,
cannot remember.
gosh, Lee. Yeah.
Yeah.
Her sister worked for the NBD Bank.
Okay. Yeah.
Almost had it. Almost had it. Starts with a B. I almost had it. I know you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but we used to we would go to lunch or something, or go we went to the picnic, the retirees picnic one year,
Okay.
I just go out and just be talking and stuff. She had so many stories just like you. Just like you. Yeah.
If you were for Coleman Young, you had a hell of a lot of stories.
Yes, she had plenty of stories, and I used to love to listen to them stories. Yeah. And she's very,
Wow.
very smart. She told me something that I did not know because we were walking out of the building and we had these access cards. And
Hmm.
I'm thinking that, you have to have an exit card to exit. She said, no, that's against the fire code. You must be able to exit any building that you're in. It's against the law for them to lock you in. You may not be able to come in certain ways, but you must be able to exit. And I was like, oh, I didn't know
I am
that.
trying to bring her name up, and I just can't bring it
I
up.
can't, I can't think of, but she's real, real pretty
Yep.
and real, real smart. Yeah, real, real
Yep.
smart. Because it was a couple of situations that had happened. Because I was at the crime intel, and I would be telling her some of the incidents that happened.
Hmm.
And she would relay certain stories and stuff. Yeah, yeah,
Hey,
real smart lady.
oh, did you get your? Can I want to ask you a question. Did you get
Hmm.
your ballot for the
Yes, I've already mailed it in.
who you going with?
I can't be telling you this.
Oh, oh,
Well, yeah, it's supposed to be secret, but I'll tell you later when we get off the air.
oh, it's supposed to be, no, it's supposed to be a secret ballot. I
Yeah,
said
I'm not
it
supposed to.
says it says secret ballot, but yeah, that's that. They got 9 names on here, so
I
can
know.
that make a secret? Oh, okay, thank you. All right, I'm sorry. Sorry, y'all.
It's, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Did you ever learn how to fly a plane? Because I know you. I mean, you've
No,
had so many opportunities working for Coleman.
no, I never. I learned how to ride a motorcycle working with Kwame because he wanted to ride them big Harleys. I got a license for that, but I never
Okay. Did you,
used it. It expired.
oh, I was gonna say, did you like that riding a bike?
Well, I used to ride the scooter at number 4 because that's how we escaped all the racism. The white officer thought that was a sissy job, till they found out we wasn't getting no runs.
Oh,
And then all of
okay.
a sudden they wanted to try to get down there, but it was too late. All the brothers was in that doing that detail. That's
Okay.
that's that's the first time I ever saw Michael Jackson because he was at Cobo Hall and they sent us down to the escorting. He was with the Jackson 5. And
Okay.
so I said, well, why are we down here? He said, you're going to escort Michael Jackson. I said, we're going to escort the limousine. He said, no. They've got him in this big, the big steak trucks with the big,
Yeah.
they jumped in the back of one of them trucks and then the truck rolled out like it was with supplies. And he
Oh,
got
they
down.
had to hide him way back then, huh?
Yeah, then they took him out the airport and made a left and took him back around behind Cobo Hall, right at Cobo Hall with the veterans in, and all a bit further than
Right.
that. No, that's what we loaded them. We go down
Okay.
about another. I don't know if Renaissance. No, Renaissance wasn't there. We went down there by the Ford Theater,
Yeah.
Ford Auditorium, and they zipped it up and they jumped in limousine and they took off. I said, "Look at this."
Wow.
Man, that's the first time I ever met him, and then I ended up knowing him well. I got all
Hmm.
kinds of stuff signed by him. Matter of
Yeah.
fact, yeah, all kinds of. I got tickets when we went to see him in Pine Knob. I was with Barry Gordy, who's my client, and
Okay.
Mr. Gordy, and he said, "Well, Ron, we're going to see Michael Jackson." I said, "Okay." So we went out there the first show, and we sat on the left side of the stage,
Hmm.
and there was a boom there. So after the show, Michael said, Barry, did you like the show?" He said it was very nice. Well, what side of the stage did you sit on, Barry? He said, I sit on the left side. Oh, no, the boom was over there. You must come back tomorrow. You can't be blocked by the boom, Barry. So we went back the next day. They gave me all these tickets, but we in the motorcade. So they don't take the tickets. I had them pictures all framed, had them sign me on autograph with the moonwalk and all of that stuff. And
Wow.
it's in there in the bedroom on the wall.
Now I know if you'd have had some girls, oh my God, if you had daughters and you told them that you was hanging out with Michael Jackson, man, and you gave them tickets or anything, you would have been the father of the century, not the father of the month, father of the year. You'd been father of the century.
Yeah, well, that's what happened with through working with Barry Gordy. I get a phone call. I'm driving down Larned going to the mansion, and I get a call from California. Mr. Gordy, security guy, called me. He said, "Ron, what you doing?" I said, "I'm going down to Manugan. I got to meet with the mayor. Smokey's coming in about 7 o'clock. Can you pick him up?" I said, "Yes." I called my cousin Dwight Featherstone, and we went out there and met him. And we've been bodyguarding him for the last 25 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Smokey looks good to be 80 years old. He looks good.
Man,
Yeah.
that's one of the nicest people, man. I remember I picked him up one Christmas and we were riding around with by his family's house over there by Northern High School. They fed me and everything. They made me feel so comfortable. We played cards. It was really nice, man. It's
Yeah.
nice when you can be with these folks, man, and they like you and you're doing what you're supposed to do.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
it's it's, it's beyond pay.
Hmm.
It's just knowing that you did a wonderful job for somebody and they know you appreciate them and they appreciate you.
Did you ever have a contact with Diana Ross?
Ooh, yeah, she was interesting.
Okay. What does that mean?
Most of the people that work with her don't work with her long.
Okay. What about Stevie Wonder?
No, Stevie Wonder. I got my own Stevie Wonder. He was coming to visit the mayor's office. I met his security person in Davenport, Iowa, at a security school, security class seminar. I met him, his security person there. But Stevie Wonder got this bad habit of you, a woman, you standing next to him, he like to go, "Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry." And the
Grabbing
average
their personals.
and the average woman is like in shock, but ain't in shock. It's like, what do I do? That was funny to me, man. Stevie Wonder.
I heard a bad story about uh Aretha and him when Mr. Mandela came and we were at Tiger Stadium.
Uh-huh.
And so Stevie had came up. I guess I don't know if he was invited, but he heard, so he came there. He
Hmm.
wasn't on a ticket or something. I don't know. They didn't have a room for him,
Hmm.
but Aretha had a room, and this is from my other coworker. So he went in that room with her. And she said, "You blind MF, get out of my da, 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 da." And I was like, maybe that's how they play with each other, because when you cool like that, you can talk to each other like that.
Hmm.
Because
Yeah.
as far as I know, they've never had animosity. And I was like, dang. I said, that's that like brother sister,
Yeah.
kind
That's
of
true.
messed up kind of stuff. Yeah, because they
She
she's
sang
just
quite a bit of his stuff.
yeah, because
Yeah.
they said she was just cussing. I said, I think she was playing because
Yeah.
I've never heard of her, having any animosity toward him. Yep,
No,
and she
not
said
him,
he
but
was,
she'll put you in their spot when they mess up. Mr. Fleming, you almost hit me with that door. I said, Miss Franklin, I'm sorry. And then I got in the back of the bus. I went off on them guys. I said, I ain't used to working with people that's as lazy as you guys that you can't even catch your door because the first person to the door kicks the door open. And then the rest of the team, because you're the lead, and the rest of the team would catch that door that the principal
right.
go through. Shit, that door almost hit her. She was all in my case, and I took care of them. I told them y'all
Yeah,
trifling, but just because y'all family members, y'all think it's a free ride. I went off, but I kept the
yeah,
door. I had the door cracked so she could hear it.
right.
Yeah, man, that never happened no more. I got some
I hope
people around.
not.
I got some people around me that knew security, and the family members could do what they kept on doing and getting a free check.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Well, you got any more stories before I ask you my final five questions?
No, I take your final five questions because if I told stories, I could be anywhere in the world.
Okay. All right. So I call these my final five. It's either a question or fill in the blank. So number
Okay.
one, what's the best advice you received about raising your sons?
Be fair, be strict, but be fair.
Okay. All right. Now, when you say strict, what do you mean when you say be strict?
Do what you need to do to do right. I mean, you ain't got to be beating the kid upside the head, but portray your wishes or what you think you should do in a manner that he'll understand. And
Okay.
selling drugs is bad, so don't go out there selling drugs and look for me to get you out of jail if you if you get caught doing it.
Right. Okay. All right. Number two, today, what advice would you give a young man that is interested in working in law enforcement?
Uh, Go to a precinct and ask, can you sit, get some information on law enforcement, or where can you go to get information on law enforcement, so that you can learn what this field is about and talk to law enforcement officers. And remember in the old days when you're in the academy on that Friday weekend, you roll with a scout car. You remember
I've
that?
heard about that. They wasn't doing it when I came on,
Oh,
but
okay.
I heard about that. And then when I got on, we had ride-alongs. We made them sign a waiver, put them in the back
Yeah,
seat,
I'd
and they
recommend to
went
get
on
a ride
runs with us.
along. I'd recommend to get a ride along and go to the precinct and inquire about, like, when you go to college. What do? You go and spend some time at that university to see if this is what you want. I think you should do the
Right.
same thing with law enforcement, and they should have a reach out program. You remember they used to have that junior cadet program. They need to bring it back.
Yes. 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 Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
All right. Okay. So number three, I think you already told me, but looking back over your career, would you do anything different?
Yeah,
What?
I had go into real estate.
Okay. Make you some money while you're working. All right.
No, let your
Yeah.
money work for you, because once you get that
True.
that second
Pass.
property, the rest is history.
Passive income.
Everybody that's a successful, yeah, they're either lawyers or they're in the real estate.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Law
All right.
enforcement.
No.
Let me finish up on that. But law enforcement is a wonderful field too, and it will
Right.
help you get to where you need to be to do that because it's a good paying job.
Right.
And in most cases, you'll have enough time to do secondary employment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm finished with that one. Okay.
All right. You could have went on if you needed to. I'll be quiet. But all right. Number 4. If you had to pick a subject to teach young men for one day, what would you teach them?
What to do if you stop by a police officer? I wrote a class on that. I got a lesson plan that I wrote on that. First thing I teach them to do is that when you stop by the police, when they pull you over, put your hand on the steering wheel, roll the window down. If at night, cut the dome light on, so they know that when the dome light's on, that you have nothing to hide. It sets a
Mm-hmm.
whole new perspective in how the conversation's gonna go. And don't reach for nothing. And if he tell you to get out the car, get out the car. Follow and do what he tells you to do.
Okay. I like that. I like that.
But what I do
All
is
right.
I'll send you a copy of this, and that way you can pass it out to the
Okay.
kids. Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right. Number 5. Fill in the blank. This is you. Now that I am semi retired, my favorite thing to do is blank.
Travel.
All right. Do you do international or just
I
national?
do it all, international, all of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your favorite place to go?
My favorite cities that I enjoyed, I loved Hong Kong and I love Rio de Janeiro.
Okay.
I love Cape Town was very nice,
Mhm.
and Japan was an educational experience.
How so?
Because back when I went to Japan the first time, they were so much more advanced. They had 120 games on one little disc that like the kids over here were paying $12 and $13 for one game. They had 120 games. When I came up, I brought some of those the discs back for my sons. They had games for forever.
Wow. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, all right, sir. Thank you
Yes, ma'am.
very much. I
You
appreciate you. It's been a
appreciate you.
pleasure.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. So thank you everybody for tuning in to Real Dad Speak. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. A new episode comes out every Tuesday on YouTube and Spotify. So make sure you tune in and we will see you next week. Thank you.
Thank you.